The applications are starting with officer and TSA.
Are you?
Yeah.
You are? It's success.
What else did they say? It's just announcements. If you didn't go, you have to fill out the form, or else you're gonna get kicked.
I'm not even fine. I'm not even sure it's
Oi, did you ever upload that last video to YouTube?
I'm gonna start this, and then we're gonna popcorn it. So, you know how you read things, and you choose the next person to like read the next paragraph? Yeah, we're gonna do that. With every process today. So if you don't get chosen this time, you can get chosen later. Ready?
Don't get chosen.
So glycolysis happens to the cytoplasm, and it's anaerobic. And we're gonna start with glucose. Gracie, what happens next? What's happening here?
2 ATP converting to the enzyme and dropping off 2 phosphates, and then 2 ADP are forming, and that's rearranging it into the 2 G3P.
Perfect. Pick somebody.
You can go.
Get over here.
So after it goes to the enzyme, there's 2 G3P left, and that's like 3 carbons. So then the 2 G3P go to the other enzyme, and 4 ADP comes through. And there's 4 phosphates in the enzyme, so the product of the 4 ADP and 4 phosphates is 4 ATP. And then 2 NAD positive or ions come through, and there's a negative electron, and then a hydrogen ion, and then 2 NADPH is like the product
pH?
of that. Yeah, 2 NADPH. Oh, no P.
No P. We're in cellular respiration, not photosynthesis. See how easy it is to do? Careful. NADH, very good. What are we left with?
2 pyruvate.
Perfect. Pick somebody. Give me the net.
There are 2 pyruvates which go onto the pre-creb, 2 NADH which go onto the ETC, and 2 ATP that go to the bank.
Perfect. Okay, ready to move on? Questions? Okay. Pyruvate is a large polar molecule. Large and polar. Been made in the cytoplasm. Out here. How the heck is it getting into the mitochondria? How's it getting across 2 separate membranes?
Facilitated diffusion.
Facilitated. Why is it facilitated and not active transport?
Because we need like the channels.
For what?
The channels to go.
It's still going from low to high.
Is it going low to high?
Yeah.
High to low, right? We're making lots of pyruvate out here. Facilitated infusion into here. What type? Are we using carriers or channels?
Channels.
If it's large and polar.
Carriers.
Carriers. Carriers. So there's going to be a little protein here, transported across. So now we're inside the mitochondria, and we're in the matrix. Everyone's in the matrix.
No, I'm not.
I
left the matrix.
How many pyruvate did we make in glycolysis? 2. How many do I have drawn and shown on your paper?
3.
So how many times is this going to take place? Twice. So this is going to happen 2 times because there are 2 pyruvates. It's just easier to show one at a time. What do the arrows represent? Enzymes.
2x speed.
Okay, so if you go and you watch videos on YouTube or whatever to get some practice, they're not going to call this pre-preps because it has an actual name called pyruvate oxidation. So if you hear that, you didn't learn something wrong. We're just calling it pre-Krebs. Okay? Pyruvate oxidation is an AP term. So we're gonna take pyruvate and we're gonna break it down into acetyl. So pyruvate starts with 3 carbons and acetyl has 2. So we're gonna lose one of those carbons in the form of carbon dioxide. Now remember, can't see the oxygens and stuff attached to the carbon. So, but every time we lose a carbon, we're losing other things with it. So this time, we're losing oxygens with it. So from pyruvate to acetyl, our carbon is lost as CO2. We're also gonna lose high energy electrons and hydrogen ions. What picks up high energy electrons?
NADH.
NAD plus. So we're gonna have NAD plus. It's gonna come in, pick those things up, and we're gonna make NADH. Only one. So we've lost 1 CO2 and we've produced 1 NADH so far. Where's that NADH going to go? ETC. Where's the CO2 gonna go?
Out the membrane.
Where's it gonna go?
Oh, how?
Out where? To the cytoplasm. How's it gonna get from the matrix across? Simple diffusion. Why simple diffusion? Small, it's non-polar, it's a gas. It's just gonna go high low. Once it enters cytoplasm, it's a product of cellular respiration, which means we breathe it out. So it's gonna exit the cells, into our bloodstream, we're gonna expel it out. Okay? So that's CO2 we're getting rid of. Now we have acetyl. Acetyl's just a baby. It needs a friend. It needs somebody to help it into Krebs. Okay? It needs what we call a coenzyme to help it. So coenzyme A, or just called CoA, is going to come in and it's going to attach itself to acetyl. And this coenzyme is acting as a tugboat. What do tugboats do?
They tow.
They just drag, right? They take big ships from the bay or harbor, whatever it's called, out to the ocean, and they let them go. And they come back and they pick up another big ship and they do the same thing. And when they bring them into the harbor, they go out, they catch them, bring them in, drop them off. They're a helper. They're doing it together. That's what co means. So CoA has to attach to take acetyl into Krebs. Questions? Before we popcorn, we're going to move on to Krebs. We're going to just do all of these things. Alright, so now we have acetyl CoA.
The physical cycle stops at you.
I think
This is still happening in the matrix.
everything kills you.
This cycle is easier than Calvin, because you only have to know one of their names. So you can count them. So we've got 4 carbon, 6 carbon citric acid, 5 carbon, and another 4 carbon. Again, if you're watching videos, this is an important molecule. It's called oxyl acetate. So you hear it, it's just 4 carbon. What are all the arrows? Most abundant thing in the body, most abundant thing in the world. CoA is gonna drag it in, and the acetyl is going to bond to the 4 carbon. 2 plus 4 gives us 6. So that's how we get this 6 carbon citric acid. We're just joining the 2. Okay? And then after it joins, CoA is going to leave the cycle. Why? Because it's a tugboat. All it did was bring it in, drop it off, and now it's going back to pick up another acetyl. So it's going to leave the cycle and do that. And now we're left with citric acid. What's the other name for Krebs cycle? Citric acid cycle. So the whole purpose of this is to take citric acid, break it down. And we're going to make electron carriers out of it. So when we break down citric acid to a 5 carbon, what did I say? Every time we lose a carbon, what are we losing it as? CO2. So we're going to lose carbon dioxide. We're also going to lose electrons that are high energy and hydrogen ions. What's going to come in and pick those up? NAD plus. No P here. No P here. So NAD plus comes in, picks them up, and we make 1 NADH. And now we're left with our 5 carbon. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to break down this 5 carbon into a 4 carbon. So we're losing the carbon as CO2. We're also going to lose our electrons and the hydrogen ions again. And those are high energy. So again, we're going to have NAD plus come in, pick those up, and produce NADH. And there's one more thing that gets lost. Remember, there's lots of things attached to these carbons we cannot see. And one of those things is a phosphate. So if we just have an empty phosphate hanging out, what's going to pick it up? ADP. So we're going to have, oh gosh, running out of space. ADP is going to come in, pick up that phosphate, and we're going to make 1 HP. Now we're left with 4 carbon. This one and that one are not the same. This one, I think its name is technically like fumarate or something. And this is oxaloacetate. Not the same molecule. Okay, so are we losing any carbons in the process?